Hello, my name is Don Schroeder, and welcome to Focus Manatee. Focus Manatee is a continuing series of programs that reach out into all aspects of life in our county. Focus Manatee's goal is not only to speak with individuals or groups who perform leadership roles within the county, but also to bring to our conversational table those who are affected by the decisions that are or will be made by a vast assortment of leadership entities within the county. So let's get started. More than 60 years ago, the Manatee Players was a roving band of performers and volunteers, working with meager budgets. Today, the Manatee Players have evolved from those humble beginnings into a nationally recognized and awarded ensemble that is enriching lives locally and regionally through the art and education of live entertainment. Today's panel consists of 5 individuals who have been intimately involved with the Manatee Players over the years, but most importantly are actively associated with the Players' current capital campaign to raise $1.2 million necessary to open the new Performing Arts Center by March 2013. With that being said, please allow me to introduce today's guest. First is the Honorable Wayne Poston, Mayor of the City of Bradenton. Sitting next to him is Dr. Anthony Pizzo, President of the Manatee Players Board of Directors. My third guest is Brenda Rogers, President of the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton, and alongside of her is Jack Hawkins, Chairman of the Board of the Bradenton Kiwanis Foundation. Both those entities, in combination, have just pledged $250,000 toward the completion of the new Manatee Players facility on the riverfront. My fifth guest is Janine Witham, Executive Director of the Manatee Players, who among all her other duties is responsible for raising the remaining $1.2 million needed to open the Players' new venue and to have it open by March 2013. Welcome all, and thank you for taking the time to being on Focus Manatee. My first guest and my first question goes to the Mayor. Mayor, what do you see the future is, and how important is the Manatee Players to your viewpoint of the riverfront?
Well, the city's been interested in this, and I've been particularly interested in it because it's an economic development issue for us. A lot of people think the Players is just an artistic achievement, but the first thing that people from out of town that are looking at Bradenton and looking to move here, the first thing they ask us is, what's the status of the arts and culture in your community? They're concerned about their employees. They're concerned about what they want to get involved in. And so for us, it's not just an artistic endeavor. It's an economic development issue. And we're glad that we're moving forward. It has taken a long time, and Janine has worked very, very hard in getting this to where it is. And so we have great partners that are sitting around the table here making this happen.
Dr. Pizzo, as president, how do you see this evolving?
Thank you, Don, for having me first and foremost. This is an issue that's, I agree with the mayor, this is really critical for the development of the downtown, not just based upon, hopefully the Manatee Players will only rove one more time to the downtown new facility from the pre-existing facility, which is now 65 years old. But bringing in people to the arts and culture, we're educating youth, we're doing award-winning shows, and when people do call up and they think to relocate, in my medical practice, we recruit new doctors all the time, or we meet other doctors who have been recruited for other practices, and the first question they ask is, well, now that I'm here, this is a beautiful place, what do I do when I'm not working? So I have to, follow up on the mayor's ideas that this is really a very good thing, that and developing that waterfront is going to make Bradenton a very good destination for many people.
Brenda, you had indicated, and Jack have gotten together, and just 2 weeks ago, you presented a check to the Manatee Players for $250,000. How did you go about that? I know you have 2 entities in one club, so could you explain that?
Well, I guess the easy way to explain that is that the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton Foundation holds the charitable funds that we give to our community, and the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton Foundation, or Club Board of Directors, authorizes those expenditures, and we do work together to determine what our goals are and what amounts we'll be giving and those kinds of considerations. with this $250,000, we were real excited about the investment in our community for the future. We saw it as something that could build in the economic area, but we were also very interested in the educational and youth components of the theater experience, and that really cinched our desire to be part of it.
Janine, the players in working on what Brenda just said, you have a component for the youth within the Manatee players. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Well, education for the Manatee players is a year-round endeavor. And within our community, a lot of people have the misconception that all we do is put on main stage big, great quality musical performances. But it's the desire of the board of directors and the vision in tandem with the staff to not only educate young people to be able to sing and dance, but more importantly, provide them with skills that are lifelong skills so that they're able to present themselves to a group of individuals, have the confidence that they need to stand up tall and be able to speak in a manner that not only do they feel good about themselves, but they are able to really present themselves in a quality way. Now at the Manatee Players moving forward, and a big portion of the grant we received from Kiwanis is enabling us not only to provide young people with that on-stage skill set, but now we're moving towards also providing the community and the region at large what we call technical training skill sets, where individuals really can learn the lighting design, scenic design, and costume design, those magics that happen backstage. And so providing that to the community is very important to us.
Thank you. And
Can I
go ahead,
expand on that? When we discussed this at the board level over the last couple of years since I've been involved, the object of what Janine's describing as the TTAP program was to really shore up the educational aspects of what we do at the Manatee Players, not just on a regular basis, but to the point of getting people ready for the workforce, where they're actually receiving certification or a card where they can go out and basically get paid for what they love to do and what they've learned to do with us. You know, that becomes a huge benefit to the community. We're trying to put people into the workforce. We're trying to educate and train people with viable skills besides the entertainment aspects and the getting people comfortable speaking in front of audiences. We've had people grow up through the theater over the many years, gone on to college. Some have gone on to law school, corporate jobs, and so forth. And these are all people that are perfectly comfortable getting up in front of a group of people, speaking, presenting themselves well, and, you know, frankly makes us very proud of what we're doing.
Mm. And Jack, the foundation also has a program, and there's money coming from the foundation toward education, and that's a big component of Kiwanis, not only locally but internationally. Could you explain that and how that works? And
I'd be glad to. Well, the foundation, Kiwanis, is about our motto, if you will, is to put it concisely, is serving the children of the world. So Kiwanis has been about children since day one, and certainly since the club has been around for, gosh, how many years now, Brenda?
Almost 90.
Almost 100 years. So, but the foundation, the board of trustees of the foundation consists primarily of members of the club, two separate organizations. So we take our cue from the club. We're a supporting organization for the club, for the things that the club wants to do. And we are stewards of the money. We've been over the years, we've been very fortunate. We've had good leadership on the board of trustees. So we provide the funding for projects that the club says, hey, this is a neat idea. Let's do this thing. And so the idea of the players, doing something with the players, excited the foundation. But we really take our cue from the club, and it was the club. Those are the workers on the ground, if you will. Those are the ones who were really involved in the community more so, because we only have 10 trustees, and we have 80 or 90 or 100 and some odd members of the club, whatever that number is. So we provide money, we provide guidance in that regard, and then we do. I wouldn't say we do what the club requests us to do, but you know, we take a lot of pride in the leadership that the club has, and so we do follow their cue. We really do.
And
Don, if I might, I've been a member of Bradenton Kiwanis since 1974. And there's just no way to explain how much the Kiwanis Club has done for this community. The size of the club and the active participation that we've had in the leadership in this community. There's just no way to explain how much they have done.
It's not just monetary.
This
it's
community,
physical time.
this community wouldn't be anywhere near what it is without the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton. I mean, it really wouldn't be. And they've been smart. They've been frugal. They have done all the things that they used to be. The Bradenton Kiwanis Club's foundation and the money that comes out of Bradenton is bigger than, you know, most charitable giving in almost any community. It's bigger than the United Way in many places.
Is it proper to ask the question about how much is in the foundation?
Yeah, I think it's proper. The foundation has been around since 1994. The club has been around since, you know, what?
1922.
1922. We're coming up on its 90th birthday.
Right. This year, I think we're having our 90th anniversary. And we started small, and as many people know, as everyone on this panel knows, and I know you, Don, the leaders of Kiwanis Club many years ago had the foresight to acquire the Bradenton Trailer Park, and the club ran that for many years, and that was sold in 1998, and I can tell you for about a little over $8 million. And so we had that, but now we have over $10 million in our foundation, and over the last 15 years, the foundation, under the tutelage, if you will, of the club, we've given back to this community more than $5 million to scholarships, to kids, to youth, and we've still been able to grow it. So this type of project is something that really excites the foundation, because it's not just about putting on plays. I mean, that's cool,
Exactly.
That's a byproduct, but from our standpoint, it's investing in a facility that's going to provide educational opportunities for kids. You know, schools that can't do the things that they used to be able to do. And an economic catalyst, if you will. That's certainly a nice byproduct. So we're just delighted to be a part of this, a small part of all the work that, you know, these folks have raised, what, $14 million already or something like that.
We do have a history of this type of investment. Jack mentioned the Bradenton Trailer Park. The club went into that area because the city asked the club to provide a place for tourists to come and be in the Bradenton area. And recently I found a postcard, and on the back of it said, you know, close to churches, schools, beaches, you know, every shopping and everything. And I have to say that nucleus in the center of Bradenton is still all those things. But we contributed to the startup for the Manatee Convention Center. We have been part of the Boys and Girls Clubs, the 9th Street Center and DeSoto Center. Those were Kiwanis Club projects. The Girl Scout House, the renovation at the 4-H Center, all those kinds of things that we've done historically that make our place a better place for families to raise their children, for people to live and to just love what we offer here. And that's part of our goal, is to make Bradenton and Manatee County a better place.
And I find the same thing as a realtor. People come in, it's not just, they're looking for a lifestyle. And the players, and when you talk about the players, that intrigues them more than they need more than just beaches and a home and a house over their head. They need other things, and they're looking at the school district, and I think great things are happening with Advantage at the school district. But going back to the Manatee players, what do you foresee in the future? You've got the new building. You're starting, Doctor. You're starting to get this whole group. It's really spreading out into, and I'd like to get the mayor's comments too about, you have Artesian working forward. You have a downtown. You have a 14th Street group. This is all part of that same environment that you're really working for, the hospital expansion that's been going on and so forth. So how does all of this play together? And Janine, I want to come back to you about what programs are going on also.
Well, a few months back, John Howard approached me with regards to...
John Howard is?
John Howard is
Consultant.
is a consultant to the Manatee Community Foundation, former headmaster of St. Stephen's. I've known John for the 23 years I'm in town. He educated both of my children as the headmaster of that facility. And, you know, John's an interesting guy. He approached me one day back in May. He called up and he actually asked Janine, would you think I could talk to Dr. Pizzo for a few minutes? And, well, he could have called me. I would certainly talk to him. So he made an appointment at the office just to come in and talk. And the girl said, you know this guy, John Howard? And I said, okay, fine, I know John. So he came by to talk to me for 15 minutes. 2.5 hours later, we caught up on what his kids are doing, what my kids are doing, how the school is doing, how the community is doing. And we need to finish your theater. You know, that was the bottom line of the discussion was, and the Community Foundation's willing to help, and I think there's other people in the community are willing to help. Subsequently, this evolved into a task force that was assembled, which incorporated the folks at Kiwanis, the DDA, the mayor, a few people from my board, Janine, a couple of people that are just very strong supporters of the theater in our community. And that task force has started meeting after that initial meeting that John and I had in May. We've met several times. But it was an interesting thing. We felt like we were dealing with a situation where you're looking at a poker game and everybody's waiting to throw the last card. And we felt like if we had some momentum that people would jump in and get going. And the Community Foundation and the Kiwanis people have been a tremendous catalyst. Now add that to the fact that we're developing, or you're developing the waterfront, which is basically, you know, goes between the hospital and all the way downtown. You know, so you're seeing a lot of positive things all happening at the same time, and frankly, people are getting excited, and that's the best thing in the world that could have happened for the Manatee players.
Right.
Besides the, you know, renowned plays and performances, and you know what we do educationally, and you know we've been a big part of the community for many, many years. I think people are actually seeing the end of the tunnel. They're seeing, okay, this is going to happen, this is going to open, this is going to be huge, and it makes it a lot easier for us to finish what we have started.
Janine, talking about the end of the tunnel, you're requiring $1.2 million now. Is there a program? Is there a website? Where do people go if they want to contribute toward this program?
The easiest thing is right from their home, the comfort of their home, their computer. You can go to manateeplayers.com, and there is a Donate Now button. We provide within not only the theater, but also our satellite office, which is in a construction trailer right outside the new facility, opportunities for people to come in. We're more than willing to sit down with people and discuss how they can invest in the project, not only this year, but maybe they want to do it on a term basis for 2, 3, 4 years. There's something for everybody to make a difference, from $25 and above. And it's important to us, just as I'm raising my children here in the community, we want to provide opportunities for everyone and anyone to get on board and feel like they're investing in their quality of life.
And Mayor, the city has invested, obviously, and it's been through the land and so forth. The land is on a deed, is that correct? It's been deeded? How did all of that work?
You want to explain this?
We only have 40 minutes. So
it was not an easy fix.
It is not an easy fix. That's the reason I'm bringing it up.
The city originally deeded for $1 a year the current site. And Janine says, why'd you do that? I said, well, we needed the money in those days. So that's the way we did it. And now this was essentially a partnership or a collaboration to get the current site and get it where it is.
The city recognized, and we appreciate, the city recognized that the Manatee players over history, especially in the last 20 years, we're no longer just a little theater. We're not just providing shows 4 months out of the year. We're really using the facility 12 months out of the year. We're bringing over 40,000 people on a yearly basis within our concrete 4 walls currently. And the city provided us an opportunity to be able to build on a secondary site, so we didn't have to demo the current facility and therefore, again, be wandering throughout the community for we don't know a period of time that it would have taken. And so it's allowed us to build up our season subscriptions. During construction, we, on a consistent yearly basis, have been breaking our records. We currently now have over 2,900 season subscribers.
That's amazing.
And it's wonderful, and thanks to the city. They didn't make us move out and build on our current site. They provided us with a second one. We appreciate that very much.
Mayor, how does that
Well, we
fit
understood the
in?
importance of what the theater was doing, and I'll be perfectly frank, one of the things that we had planned on really didn't turn out as well as we had liked, because what we were going to do in collaboration with the school board. And Dr. Deering and I worked on this closely, where the players was going to be really part of the school system. And that's what we were going to do, is we were going to be able to train kids to have a developmental program in the arts. And then the economy struck that just like they struck everything else.
Right.
The school board was going to be a real partner, but when the money wasn't there, then we had to be nimble enough to figure out how to get this to happen in a different kind of way. And that's really what we have done.
And does this fit into, and going back to your concept of the whole area, the downtown development, and the Artesian Avenue, and
Well,
all
we've
of
got-
the other thing, it's all interconnected, correctly?
Yeah, Don, we have a lot of things. When I first came in as mayor, I came in and had a bucket list, if you will. It's the revitalization bucket list of what I wanted to do as mayor. I had 27 items on that bucket list, and I'm about 3 away from finishing. And I know I'm not going to tell you what the others are until I get them done, but we're close. But this was one piece of that thing. See, my job as mayor is, it's sort of like doing a jigsaw puzzle. I know all the pieces that I want, but I just don't know what order I'm going to get them in. And so as we would get something done, we would plug that piece in. We did the G.D. Rogers Elementary School. Boom, we got to get that done. We got to do McKechnie Field, which is in the same area. The Hope 6 project, we had people in, all of that started to develop. Then it moved over to the Village of the Arts. We got that finished and been named one of the top 10 art-friendly communities in the country. So that happened. Then Old Main Street started to work. And the St. Patrick's Day for Old Main Street this year was shoulder to shoulder for 4 blocks. It was an amazing thing. But then it leads down to the waterfront and the riverfront, and what we want to have happen there. Some housing, the players. We need some commercial in there, and that's coming. We're part of the Benderson program and a rowing facility, so that's going to be there. We're going to do a skateboard park down there that's not just going to look like a piece of concrete there, but it's going to be an art form. And we think that we will bring skating events from all over the country there. So the players is part of all of that fabric that we're trying to fill this jigsaw puzzle, and when we get finished, it'll be a great thing. But
And Wayne, if I
we're doing
could,
this piece at a time.
and I forget these dates if you don't mind. How does the plan is for the new players facility to be open in March of 2013? Okay, so how does that dovetail in with what's going on downtown in terms of when is that scheduled to be completed? Do you know?
We're going to get
offhand?
that done this year. We're moving very, very quickly. I have every single permit we need. Very unusual to get that, particularly from EAP and even an FDOT permit and
Really?
lease.
Great.
We just got that finished. So we're going to be moving forward very, very quickly on that project now.
And can you explain the scope of that project?
Well, it goes, when we get finished, the riverfront will go from 15th Street West, Bacarota Boulevard, all the way down to Manatee Memorial Hospital around the curve. Maybe the longest linear park in the state when we get finished with that. It will also then go over to 7th Street East. That's part of a development we're going to announce before too long.
Great. And that's on the riverfront also. So that's going on the other side of the riverfront,
and that's
right?
working, because the asset that the Bradenton has always forgotten about is how important that river can be to us economically. And we're starting to use that in a way now that makes sense. And my goal was not to give it away to all private folks. I mean, we want people to be able to use that who live here. A lifestyle issue is important to me. I always thought that we like to have tourists, and we like to have the folks come down, but don't forget the people that are here and built this community it's like you get a new puppy, you kind of forget about the old dog that's been so good to you for so long. So we try to not take that for granted.
Brenda, talk just quickly again, because education is a big component of what they're doing here. Talk about this the scholarships that Kiwanis is doing and how that dovetails into this program. I know, have continuing education scholarships for students. Can you talk about that background a little bit?
The Kiwanis Club has a history of college scholarships for Manatee County high school graduates. And if we went back, probably the last 5 or 6 years, we've probably invested close to $1 million. I went
2, maybe.
Close to 2. Jack is the number man. I just give it away. It's a great job. But no, we have had a pretty significant scholarship program, and it has sent a lot of Manatee County students to colleges of their choice, and it's a very rewarding program. I've had the privilege of being a scholarship chairman for several years, and I get to know the students, and sometimes I feel like I'm the den mother or something along that line, because they come to you, they share their joys, they share their sorrows, they share their challenges, and you really do get to know some of the students very well. And I'm always very proud and they'll send me graduation announcements and invitations to the party after, and those kinds of things. And most of the time they're in Tallahassee or Gainesville or Miami or somewhere else. But we have a lot of students at USF and State College of Florida. So we feel that we're investing in our community in that way, as well as some of these more bricks and mortar kinds of programs that we do.
Doctor, you have a task force, if I'm correct?
Correct.
And can you talk about the task force? I know they're a component of it, but they don't actually, and I guess maybe Janine also should be involved in this question, but the task force is the building arm, but not the educational arm, or is it a combination of both?
They're the arm that's really helping us get it done. This was a group of good organizations, good people, good standing in the community, who all stepped forward with the idea, we believe in your project, and we feel that Bradenton needs to get this finished, up and running, so that it enhances, what the players have provided for this community for many, many years. So the educational end of it is Kiwanis is going to fund some of that. Some of their money is going towards classrooms, expanding our education programs, which ties right into what they've done with children all along. So that end of it, is kind of separate, but the real issue of the task force is, okay, they have a strong feeling that Bradenton needs to have this in the community. It's going to be a great thing. We can expand on our programming. We don't have to just limit to 8 main stage productions. The other thing is, again, tying back to children, about 42% of our main stage actors are under 18.
Really?
Yes. People don't realize that. We have tremendous talent in the community. We have a tremendous amount of people who want to be involved. We have tremendous volunteers, but that task force was really, okay, what can we do to get you over that last big bump in the road so that we can actually see this place open, operating, and the whole community can enjoy it.
Owning and operating, I understand that Miss Saigon is going to be the opening production.
That is our goal. It's very important. The one big thing that the task force really helped us as an organization from the Manatee players' perspective was making sure we were branding ourselves correctly. And the misconception was we were just doing another small theater. And really what we are building downtown is an amenity for the region at large. It is a performing arts center. On Friday evenings, you can come in and see a film or a series of musicals, poetry, a jazz concert, and on a Monday morning, you may be there with your corporation hearing a motivational speaker and having lunch in a dining area. It truly is going to be a performing arts center, home to the Manatee players, but have a cultural outreach for the community at large. Many of our smaller theatrical troupes and maybe recital homes now will have a place downtown Bradenton. I'm excited because we will be able to bring some of the new aspects of entertainment, like film, and then some of our historic programming. For many years, we did small operettas. and that will now be able to come back to town. Partnering with the Library Foundation to be able to bring in different speakers. It's an opportunity for Manatee County at large to be able to come to downtown Bradenton for all of their needs, not just in entertainment, but educational and civic as well.
That's a good way to close this program out. We're about out of town. I'd like to, before I say thank you to everybody, I'd like you to just summarize your feeling about the future of the Manatee Players, but also the way you contributed and what your goals and personal goals are, and how this whole thing is coming together to make a better Manatee for the future of our community. Janine, we'll end with you. Jack?
Well, Don, and Janine knows this, I've just not been a theater person all my life, and I haven't been excited about the Players. I've been to shows off and on for the 30-some-odd years I've been back as an adult. But this has excited me, and it's got me excited about the theater, but it's all of the other things that Janine talked about. And from the Kiwanis Foundation standpoint, we like to do something that makes an impact on the community, and we are happy to have done something that we think has a really big impact on the community.
Brenda?
Both personal and as a Kiwanian, I saw my first performance as an elementary school student on a field trip to the Manatee Players. And I have enjoyed the musicals, especially the musicals, throughout my life. But as a Kiwanian, we're really proud to be part of this investment in our community and in the future, and look forward to that day in March when those doors open.
Dr. Pizzo.
I got excited about this mainly as an adult. I grew up in New York. My folks dragged me kicking and screaming to plays in Manhattan all the time. Some of which I now find out, I talk to my kids, my daughter in particular, you saw the original of that, you saw the original of this, you know, but I got more interested when my children started to get involved in theater. First my son, then he migrated to film and television, but the daughter stuck with it, and I think her performance will be her 20th performance coming up in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which opens in May. But I started to realize, first of all, what this actually did for the community, what it did for the children, and how much it really goes into putting on a main stage production. And, you know, I'm not a performer. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to get them to build a theater. I'm happy to do whatever I can to make it work, because it's just such a tremendous opportunity for our kids and for our community that it's hard not to get excited about it.
Thank you. Mayor Poston.
Well, this is sort of a dream coming to fruition, and because this is going to be a community gathering place. It's not just going to be a single element site, and so that's what I'm really excited about. And so what I would really like to encourage everybody to do is let me put this piece of the jigsaw puzzle together, and if you'll send Janine put some money for this $1.2 million we need, we'll be good.
And Janine, that's a great move toward you. That opens it up.
Well, thanks, Don, for giving us the opportunity to discuss more about the Manatee Players with the community at large. But with last words, all I can say is that if there's any questions that anyone has, any hesitation on what we're doing, feel comfortable enough to call the Manatee Players, because we really do want to provide the community at large every opportunity to gather downtown in any arena and feel good about the quality of life here in Manatee County.
And that phone number is?
941-749-1111.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all the Janine Witham, Executive Director of the Manatee Players, the Honorable Wayne Poston, Mayor of Bradenton, Dr. Pizzo, Anthony Pizzo, the President of the Manatee Players, Brenda Rogers, the President of Kiwanis, and Jack Hawkins, President of the Kiwanis Foundation. Thank you all very much. And thank you for watching our program this year. We're out of time. We'll be back at the next time, and welcome and thank you from Focus Manatee.